Good afternoon and welcome to Thedifference. We are doing everything a little different today. Everybody's sheltered in place. We're working from home, but we decided that the show could still go on. And so I'm joined today by our guest. I've got in the top left corner is Jim Thomas. Top right corner is Stephen Pine. Bottom left is Shannon Dobb. And we're going to start with Shannon first. We're going to let her introduce herself and tell a little bit about who she is. I got her name and everything up there. I'm going to take that out of the way so you can see her face. But Shannon, introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are.
Hi, Lendon. Thank you so much. It's really a privilege to be on here this morning. Again, I'm Shannon Seaborn Dobbs, and I have been a business owner for a number of years now. Right now, I'm working as a procurement consultant in the IT space. Prior to that, co-owned a marketing agency for a number of years, working with so many small businesses. And what your show handles, Lyndon, is just so many subjects near and dear to my heart on helping business owners grow and continue to have a thriving business. So thanks again for having me.
Awesome. And she is married to my good friend Brian. And bless your heart. No, I love Brian. I love Brian. And so next we've got I'm not going to say an old friend of mine, but a friend that I've been friends with for a very, very long time. That when I got started in sales, this is the guy that got me started, and I hated sales. He even called me out on it about the second or third time that I was in front of him. Scared me to death. But probably I would say this about 80 to 90% of the fundamentals that I still use today, I learned from Jim back in the early 90s. So, Jim, introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, what you do, and a little background on you.
You bet, Lyndon. Appreciate it. And it's been since the early 90s. Is that right?
It has.
So my company is Fitness Management and Consulting. And, my specialty has been we actually started the company back in 1989. And we provide consulting and brokering services to the gym industry, the baseball industry, really globally these days, whether it be sales training, marketing, brokerage service, a lot of turnaround work that we do. And we've been doing it for quite some time, and much in the same manner that you talk about. And so much of it now is like what we're doing right here, where we can actually operate globally and doing conferences of this nature.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you and Shannon on. Next, we have Steve Pine with Patterson Insurance. Steve and I go way back as well. And I'll let Steve share that part if he wants to, but Steve's a partner with Patterson Insurance Group. So Steve, tell everybody a little bit about you.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, it's good to be here with you guys today. I'm a partner at Patterson and Associates Insurance. I've been there for 17 years now. We're a full service insurance risk management firm. And yes, as far as Lyndon's concerned, I've known Lendon for a little over 20 years now. And, he's the one that used to yell at me during football practice in high school. So
I didn't yell at you too much. Always had your back, man. There wasn't too many that worked harder than Steve. So, I only yelled at the ones that didn't work hard all the time. But all right. So today we were going to be, this month's theme has been, what is your definition of professional? We may get to that in a minute. But what I really want to talk about is what should we all be doing right now as small business owners, entrepreneurs, realtors, whatever it may be, independent contractors. What should we be doing in this market now that a lot of us are called to shelter in place? So I think that it's scary times for us. We're not sure how or what's going to happen with the economy, what we need to be doing. So Jim, let's start with you. You, as you said before, being around for a while, we've seen some up and downs, and we've seen, and sometimes the gym industry gets hit hardest the first. But I think that, and I know for me personally, the things that I learned about working in a gym, running a gym, owning a gym, it's the same fundamentals that we use in every business. So, Jim, what would you be doing now if you were in that position, whether it's a gym or whether it's a small business, or what are you doing now in your small business?
Right. And so the first thing I think is we have to get our head right, is the way I would put it. And I think the very first thing we have to do is recognize that this is temporary. This is going to be over. This is not going to last. Too many people, I think, are focused on what's wrong now, and kind of use a Tony Robbins quote. We need to give power, to the solutions. We need to give power to what the answers are going to be for this. And so the very first thing is, this is temporary. We're going to get through this. This is going to be over. And then we need to start to act accordingly. And the other thing that I would comment on, because I could talk probably at length at some of this, but the other thing I would comment on is that there's going to be two different kinds of businesses. And I'm not saying this stuff is easy, okay? I mean, you got to have some courage to get out here and do this stuff. But there's going to be two kinds of businesses. There's going to be that business that chooses to do nothing, that they contract, they retreat. And really what the answer is here for those that really want to look at this moving forward is we want to advance, we want to expand. And as we look at our financial picture and get that thing in order, we want to take these resources and we want to expand into this marketplace, create more visibility. More people need to know who we are, so that when this is over, as I tell people in the fitness industry, with no pun intended, we need to be in really good shape when this is over. Mm-hmm. And if we do those things, that's the first place I would start with.
Those are great points. And I totally agree. I think that for a lot of people out there, I'm not going to say they're going to look at this as vacation time, because it's a very scary time, and nobody has a good time on vacation, or they don't go on vacation to be scared. But sometimes you feel a little overwhelmed and helpless. And I believe that and I want to get into that a little deeper, but I believe that there are a multitude of things that we can be doing as business owners to take advantage of this downtime, if you want to call it that. Shannon, what about you? You're a business owner, you're a consultant. What would be your suggestions of some things that we all should be focusing on right now?
Something that hit me this week, and even last week too, when a lot of this went down, was that no one is exempt from this. No one in business, no employee, no business owner is exempt from what's going on right now. Every person in the country is affected, whether there are ill people in their communities or not. And so, for example, I was on a conference call with a number of people on a project. It's a daily call I'm on right now until this project is finished, and it's almost as if we did not need to talk about the situation, because every single one of us is going through it. Either we're sheltering in place, or we're wondering what's going to happen with the economy, our family, our jobs, and to know that every single person is affected. It was gave us permission almost to just say, well, let's get back to work. Let's move forward and keep working, keep the momentum going. And sometimes it takes a more of an effort right now to put your iPad aside, put your phone aside, get off the news and get back to work. And I speak from personal experience to just make a little bit of extra effort to really plow forward and keep business moving, because it's important right now to do that, because as Jim said, when it's over, who's going to be left, and who's going to be the individuals who continue that momentum and keep going and keep working and just to keep incomes and economy where it should be.
Absolutely. More great points as well. Steve, what about you? What are you guys doing? I know that when we talked the other day, actually, was it when we did your spotlight that you guys were getting ready to move from the office into home confinement, I guess? What are you guys doing at Patterson right now to keep the things working? I know you shared earlier you're already reaching out to a lot of your clients And
Right.
so if you've got anything you'd like to share, talk to us about what you're doing to keep business moving.
Sure. And we did the day that we did the spotlight that afternoon, we basically vacated the entire office. But 2 days before that, everyone started working from home. But fortunately, we had prepared in advance in case we needed to all work from home. So, but I really think, I kept, as we were talking before this for a little while, I kept looking at the word and the logo behind you, Lendon, that says adapt. Um,
Adapt.
adapt. And I truly believe it's time for us to adapt. We've got to change the way that we work, the way our workflows exist, and those that will embrace the opportunity to adapt right now will be the ones that come out stronger on the backside of this thing. But really, what we're doing, we're making sure that all of our current customers, number one, understand and know that just because we're not in the office doesn't mean that we're not here for them. This is our time to shine as business owners. Those customers that rely on us for our expertise, and in my industry for our risk management expertise and planning for these types of things, this is our time to shine. And so it's our opportunity to do that and show that there's more value to what we offer than just a premium paid for insurance. And so that's really how we're handling it. And we are business as usual. We're continuing to market. We're continuing to let our prospects and potential new customers know that we're here to help them and also help them walk through the process. So that's sort of what we're doing, Lendon.
So would you say, and I would think especially with yours, you're probably fielding a lot of calls with people that are concerned about what role their insurance policy is going to play in all of this.
Yes.
Would you say that part of what you're doing right now is comforting people and really, helping to deepen those relationships so that people know that you're there for them?
Absolutely. Not to really talk too much about this, but part of the value that we do bring is we're very involved in our industry. All of us partners serve on multiple boards for our insurance carriers and advisory boards, and we have connections and contacts with those carriers. And so we're giving them feedback and advice on what we believe they should do, and we've been successful in some regards to that with suspending cancellations out for 60 to 90 days for those that can't pay those premiums due to businesses being slowed down and shut down. And we're also reaching out legislatively, also trying to get federal legislative help for a lot of these small business owners that are going to need that. So, but yes,
Wow.
It's a comforting role that we play right now. And honestly, that's really, I enjoy prospecting and building relationships with new customers, but I really enjoy this because this is what we're here to do.
That's what you get paid to do right now, isn't it? You're really doing what you get paid to do.
That's exactly right.
Jim, what do you think are some ways? Because I know that you mentioned this before, and I want you to the saying that I remember the most about what you do, the yes question. I want you to share that with everybody, and then also I want you to talk. Okay. And I'm going to go to Shannon too, but I want you to talk about how we can be more proactive versus reactive right now in whatever business we're doing.
Sure. Absolutely. So yeah, Lendon and I, we go way back on this question, and I get this question asked frequently, and whether it be in, challenging times like right now, or even in times that are, much easier than this, but they'll say, hey, what can I do immediately to improve my business? How can I change things immediately? And we've got a question that we ask. We want you to ask yourself, and you have to be able to answer yes to this question. And if you can answer yes to this question, anytime you ask it, you're probably going to be in a lot better shape. If you can't answer yes to it, you might be in trouble. Here's the question. Is what I'm doing right now going to result in a sale? You're running a business, you're running a company, you're a manager, you're trying to keep a household going. Is what I'm doing right now going to result in a sale? If you can't answer yes to that, better stop doing it and start doing something that will, because that'll make a massive difference for you, because now all of a sudden you're taking a whole new level of action, because that's what it's going to require here. for folks to, whatever sales performance they were doing, whatever kind of productivity performance they were doing, they're going to have to work harder, take higher levels of action, probably to get a little bit less than what they were getting before. But they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to advance. To the other part of your question, things you can do. And I can tell you some things we're talking about in the fitness industry a little bit. And I think some of this can kind of bleed over into other operations as well. But I would make one comment, and I see this in the fitness side of things, and I think it could apply to many other businesses, is I would love to see people get away from saying, we're closing, we closed, we shut down. Because that's not really true. The business, unless the business actually closed, the business is still alive. The business is still going. I'd rather see something said like, hey, in light of current circumstances, we're going to be serving you in a different manner. Because we're still going, we're still working, we're still going to provide for you. When you give that message that you're closed, that's a horrible message. And so anyone who's listening, I would say, please stop doing that. Okay, we're still around. On a temporary basis, we're going to be serving you in a different manner. So that's one of the first things I would do. And in terms of some strategies, and again, I'll take kind of what we're doing in the fitness industry, but part of it is what we're doing right here. This kind of interaction and utilizing the internet and utilizing social media, but utilizing, live streams like we're doing here, videos for folks, online Q&As, depending on your business, online accountability sessions. You can have, if it's a close-knit customer group that you have, you can have closed Facebook groups where you can do different things. Because what the first goal is for any business is, let's keep our current customers. Let's provide more value than ever to these folks. Because there's such great data out there. And certainly on the fitness side of things, just in terms of retention, just one interaction with somebody, they're 20% more likely to come back in. 5 interactions, they can be 80% more likely to come in. Let's take this and multiply this, and let's communicate it at even higher levels with our customers let's keep them as customers. And then as we kind of get through this conversation, I can share some things how you can really take that and grow it. But we need to keep our current customers. That's job one right there.
Great information. Shannon, what about you? What would you be telling people right now that are possibly working from home, as Jim said, not shut down, just adapting to what's going on? What would your advice be?
Something I've noticed again over the last few weeks is to be fearless, and I've been pleasantly surprised by many people, not only in business, but in a club I'm involved in, and church and such. It's now more than ever before. People have had to immediately embrace new technologies. That Zoom, for example, or any online meeting that some people, either in business or outside of business, may say, within 3 weeks we will move to an online capability. Well, most businesses almost had to overnight move to this, and it pushed a lot of people outside their comfort zone, and it's been really neat to watch people just say, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I have to figure this out to keep my business afloat. And whether it's moving things into an app, or collaborating with other businesses, perhaps that have a service that you don't have, that how can you work together? Because there's so much that can be done without being face to face. And as much as we enjoy that and we value that face to face interaction, you can't replace it. But right now we have to. So getting creative and staying in touch, and not let the walls close in, to really embrace these opportunities of pushing the envelope of your business where you perhaps did not use technology in certain ways. Well, guess what? Now you are, because you have to. And gosh, kudos to the businesses who are just very quickly moving into these online communities to continue the interactions with their clients. It's been great. Yeah.
I agree with that. I also feel like that for a lot of people this is going to force a lot of people to come out of their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are willing to do that and willing to take social media, and as I'm trying to change the way I look at that now, not social media, but service media, I think that we have an opportunity to give to our clients in a way that, I mean, it just may be talking about our industry and how this is impacting the industry. And as Steve was talking before, what maybe they are doing inside of the industry to protect their clients. Also, I want to get you guys' opinions on if there is more downtime now, because I think that we'll figure out that there could be. Just having self-awareness and a little reflection on how you've done business previously and maybe why you are where you are now. I think that this could actually expose some weaknesses that we've had, especially if you sat down and did a SWOT analysis. I think that you could reevaluate how you've done business and where you are now, because this is going to expose some weaknesses of where we may not have been paying attention, maybe where we should, or a different way that we can pay attention as we rebound. So what do you guys think about just the studying the markets and studying what's going on right now as far as how we should be branding ourselves and marketing ourselves and the thing that we can do? What do you think about that, Jim?
Well, I think certainly we've been in a nice run in this economy. And I think, complacency is maybe one of the greatest hindrances of business. And you use a word that I truly agree with. I think this really exposes a lot of things that we should have been doing to begin with. When it comes to, we want to keep our current customers, well, we should have been doing things already to provide more value and more things. And so now we want to do more, but in some cases, we're starting from scratch because maybe we weren't doing as much as we could have. So I think certainly that. But I think the other thing, when companies look at this, and I'm doing it, is how can we do business differently now? Because we're going to have to adapt. We're going to have to change. How are we going to do business differently? And I think every company is going to have to look at that. And I don't mean that just as, hey, we're going to have to go online. Certainly, that's always going to be a component, certainly, of what we do, I think. But, what's our approach? How's it going to be different? What kind of service offerings are we going to have? And I think you have to look at it. I would even say that anybody who's in, this is in what I would, maybe this is the new normal, the old normal. We want to have a plan of action and literally write it down, because what happens when you start writing things down, it will truly give you a sense of peace and a sense of control over what you're trying to do. And part of this is, one of my favorite things is on a plan of action is I like to set intangible goals, because my intangible goal might be confidence. Maybe it's self-esteem if that's suffering. Maybe it's belief that I can really pull this off. It's not just the tangible things, but it's also the intangible things. And then what's my plan to do that? So I like to include that. But the other thing I like to include on any plan of action, and this is the interesting part that we're kind of starting to see already, is that I call it roadblocks and setbacks. No matter what is going on in the world, and no matter what plan we put in place, it never goes perfectly. And there's always going to be roadblocks and setbacks. And so when that happens, what's plan B? Because what I found to be true, business owners that are truly champions at this, they're really good at plan B. And we want to have plan B. And some of the things that I've talked about already, this is part of our plan B. But the beauty of it is once you kind of figure some of that stuff out as plan B, now all of a sudden it becomes part of what you do all the time. But I would encourage, writing that plan of action, understanding, hey, here's exactly what we're going to do. And I'm not talking generalities. Be very specific here and hold yourself accountable to get those things done. So that's where I would start.
I agree with that. And I think, as you were saying, we get so comfortable riding the wave when things are going well. And then when this happens, it kind of becomes overwhelming, and I think we get disappointed and frustrated because things were, maybe just like we wanted them, or at least pretty close. But over the years, for me, what I've seen in the '08 market crash in real estate, Jim, you said it best. It was the people with a plan B. It was the people that I think that were the most self-aware, that kind of were prepared for getting out of that comfort zone and implementing plan B, even though it may not have been their most comfortable direction they wanted to go. And they bounced back faster. And I agree with you. This is not going to last forever. This is going to rebound. But I think that right now people have an opportunity, number one, to strengthen relationships that they have maybe with their referral partners, strengthen relationships in their community. Some of the things that I'm seeing, especially these restaurants that have taken the wait staff, and now the wait staff are actually delivering meals. I mean, it's incredible to me what we're capable of doing in this country in times like this. You really see what we're made of, what really I feel has made this country great. Not to get on a patriotic rant or anything like that, but this country has done some remarkable things in its history. And we've also gotten a little fat and happy. But when things like this happen and we're challenged, you really see the cream of the crop rise to the top. And it's doing those things that I think are going to be lasting reminders in your community of who was there when nobody else was. And Steve, I think that you hit on that, with what you guys are doing by fighting to protect the people that you have policies for. That it's not just about the policy and the premium. You guys are out trying to figure out how to make this make the best out of this. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, not to get back on what you talked about before, but just the things that we're doing for our communities as far as all small businesses and how we can develop those relationships.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to come together as a community, right? For those of us that are friends, for those of us that will be friends, and I guess I would phrase that as be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And to me, one of our core values is attitude at our place, and also teamwork, like we talked about last week, Lendon. But approaching this with the right attitude, and I keep going back, and I'm not sure why I'm stuck on this word, but I think it's fitting, is that word of adaptation that's behind you, being able to adapt. And coming together as a community, supporting your local businesses, supporting the local community to make sure that we thrive through, like was mentioned earlier, it's going to be a short period of time. Although it may not feel like it, look at the big picture. It's a short period of time. It can devastatingly affect many people. A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks can make the difference in some businesses. However, it's time for us to step up and be the difference for those people, to fight for them. Those of us that have platforms and opportunity, those of us that know people that can implement things, this is our time to shine. It's our time to do that. It's our time to give back to the community in a way that we haven't had to do before. And really, that's where we're coming from. It's, insurance policies aren't designed for this. However, we as professionals in this industry, we're risk managers. We develop relationships. We get involved in our communities, and we meet people for circumstances like this. And it's our time to go to battle for those small businesses and large businesses alike, to do what we can to make sure that everyone comes out of this okay, and have an opportunity to rebuild this economy as quickly as possible.
Right. You said this, and Jim, you were talking about it before about doing a free conference call, a free consulting call for any fitness or gym owners out there to kind of give them some tips on what they don't need. I mean, you just gave one, the fact that don't say that you're closed. But with what Steve's doing, as far as fighting to, because the insurance policies don't cover this type of catastrophe, and then with what you're doing, I think that being able for us to step up and help provide some answers for people that are really looking for answers right now. And I think a lot of us are. I think that really, we were going to do the show based on what is a professional. And I think that's an ultimate sign of a true professional, when you're able to go outside of what's just the transaction part and do something that's relational and help answer some questions for people that may be struggling. That definitely is going to keep the people that are willing to do that at top of mind. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jim, talk a little bit about, I don't want to put you on the spot because I know that this is kind of off topic from what we all prepared for, but are there some ways that we all could be, different ways that we could be working to be top of mind for people? I know that you mentioned just reaching out to some of the people that, from a fitness standpoint, that may not be the most active, the percentage of keeping them involved in the gym. That's staying top of mind. What else are some things that you could think of now that we might all be doing?
Well, let me give you I'll give you a tip. And, and certainly in the restaurant business, people need to eat. So they're making phone calls and they're doing that. But let me tell you something I think is crucial here. Do not be afraid to sell. Do not let anyone guilt you or shame you into thinking you should not be selling. Because there's plenty of folks, I can't believe you're trying to sell in times like this. I will go back to one of my favorite sayings and quotes from the great Zig Ziglar. And his comment was, when it came to money, he said, money may not be the most important thing in the world, but it's reasonably close to oxygen on the gotta have list. And we still need to sell. We still need to sell. We still need to bring in revenue. Now, there's a right way and wrong way to do this. I mean, we still need to provide value. I talk about selling in terms of, hey, we're still solving problems for people. We're still providing solutions. We are still building value. We're making it simple and easy to do. It's kind of, I use the fitness industry as an example. What is today? March. It's into March or a week before, right? And it's going to be here in Dallas. It's going to be 80 degrees. The sun's out. I mean, in a normal time, we'd be talking about, hey, the gals want to get their swimsuits on. The guy's got his shirt off. They're heading to the pool. And, hey, we want to look great for spring and summer. That's still true. This is still true. And we need to get our focus off what's wrong and get our focus on, hey, where we're heading and what next steps are. We need to be talking to our customer, hey, here's what's on our agenda for April. Here's what's going on. Hey, we got this big event coming up in May. We need to be, in a sense, kind of selling down the road. But we've got a group, back in Virginia, actually, and, they're doing a big membership drive. We're taking this as a great opportunity to do the membership drive because, hey, we're doing live streams. We can reach more people than ever before. And I'll tell you something else that I saw. I'm not involved with this one, but I really liked it when I saw it. Was, the Silver Sneakers folks, they're participating as well. And they're doing online classes. And I saw a piece of information that they're trying to break their record. And I think the previous class they had 16,000 people online taking a class. I mean, how great is that? And I think when people are out there doing these things, hey, let's set a record. Let's, share this, give it to other people. Let's get as many people involved as we can. And because at the end of the day, we can have great ideas and we can have great plans, but guess what? You have to take action.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's funny you said that because I saw a post the other day on social media that was talking about don't get upset with the businessman that's still trying to do business right now. Because, whether they're shut down or whether they're not shut down, they still got to feed their family. They still have to pay their bills. And so taking the approach on social media, I want to share a quick story. And this has to do with you, Jim. I'm not sure you'll remember this. This was about our third interaction. But it really stuck with me when I've got a point to make with this. So everybody hang on. But when I started in the fitness business, I wanted to be a personal trainer. That's all I wanted to be. And our old buddy from Texarkana, I won't mention his name, but He wouldn't let me be a personal trainer. He told me I had to do sales first. I despised salespeople. Absolutely. I hated car salesmen. I hated anybody that tried to sell me anything. And so I didn't want to do it, but it was the only way that I was going to get to be a trainer. Now, I wasn't smart enough to realize that in training, you still have to sell. Didn't get that part. I just thought that they walk in and I start showing them how to live. So we're in a class one day. Jim actually came from Dallas to Texarkana, and this was, I think, his third trip. And I am sitting in this class. There's 4, 5, 6 of us, something like that. And Jim looks me right in the eye. I was sitting in the front, and looks me right in the eye and asked me what was wrong with my attitude. And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, your attitude. There's something wrong with your attitude. And I said, "Well, I hate selling. I hate being in sales." And Jim's answer was, "Stop selling." And I thought for a second that I just got fired. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Start solving problems."
Yep.
And my mindset completely flipped in an instant. And Jim shared with me that people that walk through that door are coming here because they have a problem that they need to solve, and this is a place where they have to get it solved. Mm-hmm. You have the answer. Find out what the problem is, provide the answer. You'll never have to ask for money in your ever. And I've always remembered that. And I'm so thankful that Jim is on the show today. I owe Jim a whole lot. I've been around in sales ever since then. Everything I've done has been, I've had to sell. And that was an impactful moment in my life. But I agree with you, Jim. I don't think that we should be apologizing for trying to sustain our businesses and be successful right now. But I think we do have to take an approach where we're serving people and finding and reminding them that we're just here to try to solve your problems. If you've got one I can help with. Steve, you're doing that. Shannon, you do that in your consulting. Whether it's a pair of sneakers that you're buying, we all have a problem. If I'm buying a new car, it's because I need to get somewhere. And I may want a particular type of car. So I have a problem and I'm seeking help for that. So I think that we need to remember that and not shut down right now, be proactive and going out and trying to keep our businesses going and being prepared for the rebound. Shannon, do you have anything to add to that? Or Jim, let me back up. Jim, do you remember that at all?
You know, I remember going down there, and I remember you and I talking. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember it well. Yeah, I would add one. I would add one more thing there to you, and absolutely, totally on board. I would take it to another level, to the business owners out there. It's easy to lose sight of some things here, and certainly we all have goals, right? Things we want to accomplish. But here's what I would challenge anyone to do. We talk about, for the customer, we want to solve problems. What are their goals? What problem they need to have solved? Absolutely, that's how it's done. But it's also how we kind of manage ourselves, right? And what I mean by that is, what kind of goals do we have? What are we trying to do? And the question is this: why is that important to you? Is it important because you want freedom? You want to take your kids on a vacation when this is over? Understand why this is important. It's not just money. It's why is this important? Because when you identify that and identify that properly, boy, it sure evens out the process and sure makes it a whole lot easier, particularly when you hit bumps in the road. Because when you know why it's important, and that's why you get up and do it every single day, then they can pretty much throw anything at you and you're going to have success.
Good point. Shannon, what about you? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it was interesting. Before Jim even mentioned it, I was thinking of the what problem are we trying to solve, or even in my business, that's I write a lot of proposals for clients on for IT or healthcare or what have you, and that's typically when that request for proposal comes out, the client wants to know that you understand their problem. They almost want you to state the problem back to them, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page and we know what we're talking about. So yes, solving people's problems, solving clients' problems, and putting ourselves into that role especially in this time and now more than ever to just, how can I help you solve a problem with your business, or how can my company help you solve a problem? And the other thought I had, as just hearing the different comments here, is what skill set do each of us have, or our company, if it's larger than say an independent contractor like me, but what skill set do we have to contribute to solve some problems, to help people grow? I can, many times with, Jim's whole business is fitness management and consulting, and it's broad, and what he works with clients worldwide. Yet if for some reason the fitness business went away, which is total weird fictional thinking, but let's say it did, well everything that Jim does can be put into a completely different industry and to take off with that. That with all of the
Yep.
the structure and the methodologies and such. So moving it back to kind of a smaller operation, even like what I do, and one of my skill sets is writing, business writing, copywriting, you name it. So as we're building communities and reaching out and helping others a little more creatively right now, I think, well, how can I help someone with even my skill set to get over this hump, to help them maybe with technology or putting some more things online. That builds the relationships that are going to carry you past this odd time into a new era of business that has a lot of excitement and momentum, which is hopefully around the corner very soon.
Absolutely. Well, guys and ladies, I really appreciate you being here. We're going to have to wrap up. I want to go around and get a final word from everybody, and then I'm going to give some shout outs to our sponsors that make the difference happen. So, Steve, we'll start with you. Then we'll go to you, Shannon, and we'll finish up with Jim. Just some final words on what you think we all could be doing.
Yep. Well, I'll tag on to what all was just said. Number one, the fitness industry better not go out of business, or else I will die.
I'm sure it won't. We would all die. It won't, Jim.
Right. But I loved what was said about solving other people's problems, and I'll keep this very brief. But a partner of mine at the office, this was about probably 12 years ago, put a little Post-it note on his computer that said, "My job is to solve other people's problems." And from that day, I've adopted that. It's similar to the story between you two, Lendon. That's really what we're here to do. Being in sales myself, it's solving problems. How can I solve your pain point? How can I solve your problem? We all have an opportunity to do that right now in varying different ways. And everybody's issues, pain points, and problems are going to be different. The fitness industry is going to be different than the insurance industry. The business consulting and planning is going to be different than my industry. They're all going to be different, and all of our clients are going to have different pain points as well. So the ability to still be in business, to keep the doors open virtually, right? To solve those people's problems is extremely important. And fortunately, we're in a time today where technology, you can do anything through technology these days. So to take that opportunity to provide to your clients, to keep selling, and virtually help those that aren't clients also, to be able to come through the next few weeks. Hopefully it'll be just a few weeks. But it's our time to shine and solve other people's problems collectively. And if we can all do that together and use our talents together, I relate to the parable of the talents there, right, Lendon? We've got to use those talents and not bury them. And if we use them together, every part of the body works together, we can make great things happen. And this will just be a blip that we look back on.
Absolutely. Shannon, final words?
Final word, just to keep the momentum going and stay positive. Treat a business day like a business day. The location might be different, but to keep the structure, keep the positivity, and keep the great relationships going that have been built up. It takes so much. It takes sometimes a lot of work to build relationships with particular clients. Some are easier than others, as we all know, and to keep that that relationship going is crucial, and it'll just pay off tenfold when we're back to a different normal. This is a new normal. We'll have a different normal.
Right. Jim, final thoughts. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll give you one final thought here, and actually a tip for certainly the fitness industry, because I'm right there with them, helping them on this. But really anybody, the message would be cash is king. When you sit back as a business owner, take a look at that P&L. You want to invest your time, your energy, your resources into advancing into this market. You want to grow into it so that you're ready when this thing ends and you're going to prosper. And then when you look at non-essential things, call up your credit card company, call up your lender, call up your landlord, ask for relief. There's plenty of companies, these bigger organizations, that will give you relief 90 days, even more than that, so you can focus your time and energy and your cash on pushing your business forward. Lendon, I appreciate you having me here today.
Good words. Hey, I want to thank all of you for being here. Shannon, Steve, and Jim. This has been a really good show. I really appreciate you guys coming on and taking the time to do this. You all gave some great insight. I'm going to finish up and with my final thought, and then I want to give a thanks to our as I said, our sponsors. There's two words that that I believe are going to be important. I think that what's happening right now is going to create a void. And I think that the people that are willing and able and self-aware enough to fill the void are going to be the ones that thrive coming out of this. And in order to be able to fill that void, I think we all need to be able to adapt. I put that sign up today because in the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's not just a job, it's your legacy. We all have to adapt, whether it's in good times or bad times. The people that adapt the quickest are able to fill the voids that are out there. So again, Jim, thank you very much. Hope to have you on again sometimes. Shannon, thank you.
Thank you.
Much better looking co-host than the other Dobbs that I have. I love him to death. He knows I'm messing with him. And Steve, as always, thank you. I want to thank Holly Haggard with Geneva Financial. Holly doesn't work just 8 to 5. She works start to finish. And she's been in the mortgage industry over 18 years. We're going to be doing a spotlight with Holly on Thursday at 2. And she's going to talk a little bit about what you guys need to be doing if you're facing some challenges with your mortgage. The Real Estate Triangle with Liz and Adam Terrell. They're a group of small business owners, or they're an online profile or platform for groups of small business owners that want to surround themselves with other people in the real estate industry. They've got a great program going. If you are looking to partner with people and develop those relationships, get in there, use it as service media, and find the people that you can partner with. James Kern with Delicate Moving. He's got some really fantastic things going on right now to help people through these tough times. Brian Podeska with Real Property Management Focus. We got Josh Small with WeatherTech General Contracting. He is actually out working. Saw some pictures the other day of some incredible things he's doing. Kenda Strawn with Fidelity National Title. And then that's all. I want to thank everybody that tuned in today to watch. I want to thank everybody that sponsors our show, and I especially want to thank our guest and co-host today. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys can make it happen in this tough time. I've got all the confidence in the world in you three, that's for sure. So stay tuned. We'll be back on next Tuesday. We're still, the show must go on, as I said before. So thanks everybody for being here, and we will see you all soon.
Thanks, Lendon.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Bye, Lendon.